Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand chart show where we count down the top 10 Manchester United players of the week. Are you hanging up your stocking on your wall? Are you hanging up your stocking on your wall? You get the idea. Anyway, look, we're going to start off and get into this. I don't know whether to do all Christmas songs or just to go with the songs that are associated with that player in my warped mind. But remember, these players are ranked by you from the player ratings over the last two games. I've sort of figured out how it would be and who would be number one. And it's an interesting week actually because some people played well against Southampton. Some people didn't play well against PSG or had average games. Some people played well against Southampton, didn't start against PSG. So it's difficult, but suffice to say, you will not find certain players in this top 10 who played in both games. What does that say about those particular players? But in at number 10, here comes the hot stepper, murderer, lyrical dancer, murderer. Here comes the hot stepper, murderer. I don't know why I thought of that. I think it was because Serbia, Vidic, murderer, and, Serbia, and he's Serbian. I don't know. I was struggling for Matic. I was thinking about stuck in the middle with you. Well, I don't know what else I can do. I just couldn't think of a good song for Matic. So if you've got any ideas, get in the live comments. He probably won't be in the top 10 again ever anyway. But no, seriously though, I mean, Matic, it was really hard. I think until you get to position 6 this week, it's quite difficult to figure out who to put into the top 10. So the first 10 players are a little bit, realistically. So Matic didn't play against PSG, but I actually think against Southampton he didn't play particularly well, but what he did do is provide a platform in the second half for the likes of Fred and Van der Beek and Bruno to play with more freedom so that we could come back from 2-0 down to 3-2. So I just think Matic is the only CDM that we've got who can play the role on his own. McTominay and Fred have to hold each other's hands. Even Fred and Van der Beek, I think Fred and Pogba, but Matic is the one that actually can do it on his own. He's just not been doing it particularly well recently, but I still think he's a very important player for United, so he's this week's number 10. In at number 9, well, I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more just to be the man who walks 500 miles to get home at your door. And look, Scott McTominay, the son of Scotland, our very own Braveheart, and he would walk 5,100 miles for Ollie. I think he would. And I think that's why Ollie picks him. The Duracell bunny, the original Duracell bunny, which, some people think is a bad term. I get it. But he doesn't stop running and he does run around a lot and he is that energy in the midfield, whatever you think about his ability. And you know what? I actually don't think against PSG he had a terrible game. I think I give him a 6 out of 10, despite talking at length about how I don't like him being in the team because Van der Beek should have started. He doesn't pick himself. It's not his fault. I think Scott McTominay is a decent bench player for Manchester United. I would never start him. I don't know why we do. I think it demonstrates a real, it shows why we're not a top 4 side, because I don't think Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Spurs, they would go anywhere near Scott McTominay. I think that some of them would have him on the bench. I think Mourinho would have him on the bench, and I'm not devaluing that, but against PSG, he did okay. And that's what I mean. Between 10 and 6 this week, it's difficult to, it's not competitive. I mean, the reality is Maguire and Lindelof are nowhere near the top 10 and certain other players are not. But I thought McTominay did okay against PSG, didn't play against Southampton, so he's in at number 9 this week. Number 8 this week is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I mean, his song is "Shoot me down and I won't fall. I am titanium." But it doesn't really work if you're number 8 because that means you're not really titanium. Wan-Bissaka played really well against Southampton in the second half. a lot of people didn't seem to realise that, but he did. He nearly got an assist from a Cavani header. He did provide some width in that game that we didn't get in the first half. Against PSG, I don't think he played particularly well against PSG. Very rarely got forward, and I think was pulled out of position a few times as well. But I think for the performance against Southampton in the second half especially, I would allow him into the top 10 and put him number 8. Like I said, it is a little bit of, it's difficult really, because realistically, if you want to kick people like McTominay and Wan-Bissaka out of the top 10, you've got to put people like Maguire and Lindelof in, who as I said last night, I think they're a big problem, those two. Not as individuals, but as a pair, I think they causes a lot of problems in the team. Number 7 this week is Alexis Telles. Bloody hell, let's not go there. I nearly went with Alexis Sanchez because I thought number 7. Shittest number 7 we've ever had. But no, Alex Telles is in at number 7. And again, I don't think he set the world on fire. Far from it. But I do think that he had a fair enough performance against Southampton. It wasn't bad. Maybe a sort of 7 or a 6 out of 10, And I think against PSG again, it was not a bad performance. I think some people want to blame him for the goal that we conceded. The first goal from Mbappe, and at the time I thought Mbappe skipped past Telles and then skipped past McTominay, but he didn't. He played a pass into Neymar to get away from Telles, and then he went past McTominay. So I thought Telles did okay in both those games, and therefore deserves to be in at number 7 this week. In a week where, as I said, between 10 and 5, there's not a lot of standout performances. But I also don't think we've seen the best of Alex Telles yet. I mean, look, as I said, his heat map against PSG was a disgrace for a home match where we needed to score goals. He barely got past the halfway line. This is one of the best attacking left backs in Europe. Whether you like that or not, it's true. So I don't think we've seen the best of Telles yet, and I think he's been asked to do quite a defensive job. And he's done okay. He's done okay in what is not his strongest area. So I think Telles befits the number 7 position this week in the top 10 show. In at number 6 this week, Red Wine goes to your head. Well, it is red for Fred. Red wine, you love me so fine. Red wine, all of the time. Red wine, you love me so fine. I don't even like UB40, and I definitely don't like that song. But Red Fred, red wine, and he did get a red, and he did wine. So it was red Fred wine. So yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, number 6 for Fred. I thought Fred played superb in the second half against Southampton, and I know the PSG performance was disappointing in many ways, but there were fine margin elements to that. One of those fine margins being the refusal to remove Fred before the 71st minute when he was sent off. But against Southampton, we played very well in the second half. Fred was a fundamental part of that. And, Fred is a player that on these chart shows, he in fact was number 1 when we did this. The last chart show we did was just before the international break on Halloween, actually. And Fred was number 1. So he has dropped a few places. And I have taken November into account a little bit, but mainly it's the Southampton and PSG game. And I thought that Fred, you could say, why is he even in the top 10? He was petulant against PSG, should have got a red card for the headbutt. But I actually thought Fred made a couple of good passes. I think that, his tenacity is still very important to us. I still think that Fred is going to be missed against Leipzig, and he must be a starter later on against West Ham. So Fred in at number 6 for me, and as I said, a lot of that is for the performance against Southampton. He did let us down against PSG, but then again, the second yellow was unlucky. We should have got the red for the head incident. And Paredes, he should be number 1 actor of the week, and Pratt of the week, and Snake of the week for trying to get him sent off in the first place, because he started it. And Fred finished it, didn't he? But anyway, number 6 is Fred. Number 5 is David De Gea in at number 5. So David De Gea number 5 this week. De Gea against Southampton came in for a lot of criticism for the James Ward-Prowse free kick, which I absolutely cannot agree with. I mean, there's people on social media who you look at them and you say you couldn't save a Word document, and they are saying, oh, De Gea, he should have saved that. No way should De Gea have saved that. It's a Premier League free kick on the edge of the box that goes inside the post of the side that the keeper's not covering. And actually, if you want to be really critical, Harry Maguire doesn't jump high enough. And actually, I don't really think I blame Maguire either. I don't think De Gea's really made any major mistakes this season at all. I think people just analyse it and go, ooh, De Gea could have done better. De Gea could have done better, because they want to blame De Gea because they want Dean Henderson in goal. The save he made against PSG on Wednesday night, just before they actually did score, because Wan-Bissaka had been pulled out of position again, was world class. And I think De Gea's had a good season, and I think number 5 this week is about right for De Gea. I don't see the criticism that people are throwing at De Gea, and I think a lot of it's to do with because they want Dino in goal, and I think De Gea's been very good for us this season. Keepers are not impregnable. Alisson, Ederson, whatever good goalkeeper there is in this league, if you watch every Man City goal conceded or Liverpool goal conceded, they're conceding the same sort of goals that De Gea does. Maybe they could do a little bit better, but realistically they're not clangers. So De Gea's doing well. I'm very happy with him. In at number 4 is Van der Beek. We need a song for Van der Beek. I couldn't think of anything. Probably something Dutch, maybe. But look, I think Van der Beek this week in at number 4 is a testament to what a fantastic signing he's been for us. And it's also a nod in the direction of Solskjaer and his coaching staff, is why do you keep ignoring a player that every time I've seen him play, whether it's Southampton starting next to Fred, whether it's Newcastle for half an hour, whether it's Istanbul for an hour or Istanbul for a full game a week ago, I've not seen Van der Beek put in a bad performance. So I don't know why he's not one of the first team players on the team sheet. He's exactly epitomising what Manchester United should be. He's fast. He's good on the ball. He's always looking to play forward. He's exactly the player that should be playing for Manchester United. And I thought against Southampton he was very, very good. Very good. I thought the 10 minutes he played against PSG, he got involved. So Van der Beek to me is comfortably in the top 5 this week. And the shout out really is, get him in the starting lineup and leave him in the starting lineup, because he's only going to get better from games. And I don't know why we're treating a new signing so badly. Every time he plays well, but then he's on the bench most next games. Soon as bloody McTominay and Pogba are back, get on the bench. And it's like, just pick the lad. He's actually better than every midfielder we've got, apart from this man. You can't start a fire. You can't start a fire without a spark. This gun is for hire, even if it's just dancing in the dark. It's my favourite bit of the chart show. Bruno, don't ever come out of the top 10 or get injured. So yeah, it wasn't even Bruno's best week, but he's in at number 3. Why is he in at number 3? Because he is the fire starter. He is the spark. And he is the man that... in fact, if anybody's got this, Alexa, play Firestarter by The Prodigy. If that kicks in, I want to be in your kitchen. But realistically, he is the fire starter. He is the man who makes things happen at Manchester United. And he is our most important player. And I think against Southampton, the way that he played, I thought he played quite well against Southampton. And obviously, who got a goal, which was a well-taken goal. And he also got an assist as well. But I don't think it was his best game. I think most people gave him an 8 out of 10 in our player ratings when I was looking at this. And I think I gave him a 7. In fact, I know because I researched it for this show. So if people aren't listening, the chart show is based on the player ratings now. I look at the player ratings from the last 2 games and sort of aggregate where people are across those. So Bruno is in at number 3 this week. And he didn't play well against PSG. It was a tactical... nightmare for Bruno against PSG. Basically, we played with the back 6 with 2 holding midfielders, and PSG doubled up on Bruno, and he couldn't really find much space. And when he did, there wasn't really anybody around him, so he didn't have a very good game. But against Southampton, he did. Massive part of why we came back from 2-0 down. And he's indispensable, Bruno. So he is this week's number 3. But I think it shows that actually across the week, it's been a real Jekyll and Hyde week. Southampton was crap in the first half, good in the second half. PSG, I thought we were crap at the start of the game, and in the second half of the first half and the first 10 minutes of the second half we played well, and then we finished the game badly as well. So inconsistency, and that's why it's hard to find standout players this week. But in at number 2, it's Mr. Marcus Rashford, extraordinaire, not for the stuff off the pitch, that's not how we work here, but he's doing a fantastic job there, of course, and very, very proud of what Rashford is doing for football in general, but also as a Manchester United player. But actually, really pleased with Rashford this week on the pitch. I thought against PSG, and against Southampton, playing off that right-hand side. He was fantastic. And I think that... well, actually, he didn't really play off the right-hand side against Southampton, did he? Because he was playing in a front two. I'm thinking of the Istanbul game when Martial played. But certainly against PSG, I think that... I mean, he put the cross in. He put the cross in for Cavani against Southampton. I don't think he had a very good first half, actually. I mean, again, Marcus Rashford's another one, isn't he? The Southampton performance, to me, was okay. But the PSG performance, when he actually got the ball, was very good. And I think that on that right-hand side... Look, maybe this is controversial, but I think that Marcus Rashford is better off the right-hand side than he is off the left. And I think it's because he's right-footed. And I think when you play on the right-hand side, you've got more options. You can go down the line, you can cut in. Whereas on the left-hand side, he can't go down the right line because he's left-footed. So the option to run down the line isn't there unless he uses his left foot. So I think Rashford works better off the right-hand side. And I think, he won man of the match on Wednesday night off your player ratings. I think De Gea was second. So he deserves to be in second place this week. And I hope we can see more of Marcus Rashford playing off the right, because I think he's a frustrating player at times off the left. And I think a lot of it is because he has to stop and come inside on his right foot. Whereas on the right-hand side, he doesn't have to do that. So I do like Rashford off the right-hand side. And look, maybe it's a nod in the direction that we don't go and buy Sancho. We go and buy somebody a little bit cheaper and use that money to get a centre defensive midfielder and a centre back. So Rashford might have solved a problem for us in relation to where we're going to spend our money. Number one this week, you've probably already figured it out. Wait a minute. Shot through the heart and you're to blame. You give love a bad name. I play my part and you play your game. You give love a bad name. Can't beat a bit of Bon Jovi. And I tell you what, he's a Bon Jovi type of footballer. He's got the long hair, he's rock and roll, and he was bloody rock and roll against Southampton last week. Cavani is your number one this week and totally deserves it. Absolutely fantastic against Southampton. Came on at half-time. Game changer. Assist and 2 goals. And what goals they were. And what a very good assist. I don't think people give him the credit for the assist that he deserves. Everyone says it was a good cross. It's a bloody brilliant cross. Because it's an aimed... It's basically a long pass. And off the right-hand side. And this is something that Cavani... I was never a fan of Cavani at Uruguay and PSG, because to me, I used to see him playing off the wing a lot. And I'm like, really? He's not a winger? But he has learnt a lot off the wing that I think really helped us with that Bruno goal. And then the headers. I mean, Cavani's a number 9. That's what I think Cavani is. And I did have concerns about him coming to the club based on the fact that I think we had a bad window. And I think it was a late, desperate deal. But the great lucky thing about Cavani is his pedigree is his professionalism. And, there's no doubting he's a top marksman. And, I mean, Robin Hood does exist. His name is Edison Cavani. And he totally deserves the number 1 this week. And it's based on your player ratings from last week, really, and the combined of the PSG. I think against PSG, he very nearly... I mean, look, Cavani deserves number 1 this week. Brilliant against Southampton, and actually against PSG, he was one of the few players that didn't play badly. If you think about it, I don't think Telles played badly. I don't think Rashford played badly. De Gea played badly. But everybody else, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Fred... McTominay wasn't too bad, to be fair. Martial, Bruno... All of those, you could say, didn't have good games. So Cavani nearly scored what would have been the goal of the week in the Champions League with that chip. To do that takes confidence, quality, and arrogance, I suppose, which you need in a number 9. And it would have been a great goal, and he was very unlucky not to score it. So Cavani is number 1 this week, and he does totally deserve it. So big shout out to Edison Cavani. He is your United stand number 1 this week. Smash a like on the video, Cavani, for Cavani. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Smash a like on the video if you like the chart show being back. It is back now every Saturday, which is good. I'd forgotten about it last week, so apologies for that. And of course, it's match day today. See you later on the watch along. Thanks everyone for watching.